Tonight we bring back to life the all-female podcast episodes, the first of 2019 since March 5th of 2017. We discuss Stranger Things, so take a journey with us into the Upside Down. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are officially coming back with the female podcast episodes on the Everything Horror podcast. I am your hostess this evening, Tessa Baker, and I am joined by fellow ladies of horror. We have Stacy Cox. Say hello.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Stacy Cox from DecayMag.
Welcome, Stacy. Shelia C Puregamer. Say hello.
Hello.
And we have Allie. Oh God, please! I don't want to butcher your name.
Allie Vela.
Allie Vela.
Allie Vela, and just recently Bro. So, I am also a content contributor with Stacy for DecayMag.com.
Awesome. Welcome, ladies, and I really appreciate you tackling this episode with me tonight. So the topic of discussion tonight is going to be Stranger Things. We are going to talk about episodes, or should I say seasons 1 and 2, and we're just going to jump right into it. So if you ladies are ready, let's get into it. All right, so what did you ladies think about the story for the series? What did you think of the concept?
Stranger Things has a captivating story. The path the series decides to take is what separates it from other like-minded productions. I think the concept, even as interesting as it is, isn't exactly new as far as its overall theme of paranormal. But I do like how each character in the series is unique and mysterious in their own way. This is one of the few series that incorporate characters with backgrounds that are invigorating. And it's like, none of those annoying, irrelevant backstories that you see in a lot of shows.
I agree. I like that each character obviously builds off of another character, and it's all, it all just has a very continuous flow of fluidity. There's only one episode that one really kind of threw me off a little bit, which is the one with Seven's Past and you meet 11. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
7 and 11. Forget it. That always gets me confused. 11, and then you meet her sister,
Allie,
who was also being experimented on. And that episode, it was good, but I could have, if I would have skipped that episode, then I would have been okay with it. It wouldn't have done much to me, but I do like how everyone's relationship flows, and I like how from season 1 to season 2, sort of like you meet everyone in season 1, you see what they're like, but then in season 2, people change, everyone kind of changes. Everything naturally, after everything that happened with Will, everyone kind of changed, and their role, they either matured, or for example, you have Steve, who he turned into the best babysitter in the world. I thought that was great.
Yeah, we did have a lovely little chat in our little Instagram group online the other day about how everybody's coming out with the best memes for him. But anyways, so for those of our listeners out there that don't know, Stranger Things is a series on Netflix. Right now, there's seasons 1 and 2 that are up. It's about when a young boy vanishes, a small town uncovers a mystery involving secret experiments, terrifying supernatural forces, and one strange little girl, aka 11, which Allie called her 7.
7.
It's okay. Yeah, it's all good. So strange things are afoot in Hawkins, Indiana, where a young boy's certain disappearance unearths a series of supernatural events. And so that's like a little brief description of the series. So Sheila, how about your thoughts about the storyline and the concept? You're the only one we haven't heard from yet.
I actually do like the series and the storyline. As Stacy said, the story between 11 and her sister was kind of odd, but maybe that's a mismatch for the new season coming. That they're gonna explain more of their relationship with one another and how did that all come into effect with the Stranger Things, hopefully. But other than that, as of what I saw so far in season 1 and 2, it's a pretty good storyline and a pretty growth up between one another on character wise.
And to tack on what Ali said, I have to agree with you with 11 and her sister. Actually, what is her name? Let's
Callie
figure
in the
that
series.
out.
I think that was. Let me see.
Yeah, it's Callie in the
looking it up.
series, but the actress name. Well, while you're looking that up,
Yeah, her name was
Okay,
Callie
yeah,
in the
Callie.
series. And then it was in chapter 7, season 2, chapter 7, the episode called The Lost Sister.
Right. And I actually have to agree with you. I felt like that whole chapter was off. Just everything about it was off. But it was also interesting to even know she had a sister. Because like early in season 1, you kind of get this feeling that she doesn't really have anyone. It's just her, Papa, the guy, who had her hostage and everything. You think it's just him. That's her only like family or whatever. So that was a wrench in there to know, oh, okay, so she actually does, have someone else. But that whole aspect of it did kind of drag on.
Yeah, I do have to agree with you, ladies. It did. I think I could agree with Allie. We didn't necessarily need to see the whole episode with Callie just yet, if at all. I think we would have been fine without it because it really doesn't make as much. It doesn't line up as you guys said. So
yeah.
All right. So what do you guys think of this series? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? And can you tell me why?
I love it. The first time I watched it, I saw all 8 episodes in one day. Like I started early afternoon. I think I remember eating lunch. It would probably have been like 1, 2 o'clock, watching the sunset and it being, and then it just, turning into night. Like I saw the whole thing. And I loved it. I loved everything about the show. I loved how you had, the Dungeons and Dragons. I remember that like my older cousins, they played it growing up. Like me, I was born in 1990. So, I was still pretty young by the time I was like, when I was 5 years old, I think that's when like the movie came up. So, but my older cousins, they already had the games. So I remember looking at the games and, they having all their stuff of their, memorabilia about it. The music, always love 80s music, the fashion, everything as far as like the aesthetics of the 80s was great. I thought it was spot on. I thought it was awesome, especially other references. Even like, you know, I have a cousin who she definitely grew up in the 80s, and she was like, oh no, the show was like absolutely spot on with a lot, like everything. I love that part. I love Winona Ryder in it. She's always been a great actress. And it was good to see her again. She, you know, I feel like she kind of laid low for a while. And then, you know, coming back with this show, like that was really great for her. And then I love the dynamic between the kids. It reminded me a lot of, you know, like Little Rascals meets Stand By Me, you know, with like the adventures and the cussing and like the way they interacted with each other and the sense of adventure and fantasy. I thought that was really awesome. I really, really enjoyed that. I loved that very much. And then when you add, you know, the sci-fi part, which is pretty much the whole backbone of the show, the sci-fi of it was really, really well written and really well, it just flowed very nicely. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really cool. And usually, like, I mean, even though, you know, we do horror, we cover horror and everything like that, I am a chicken. Like, I will definitely admit that. But like, I really enjoyed just watching it and watching it from the beginning to the end. Like, I did not get up. You know, I sat and I watched the whole thing, all 8 episodes at once.
Great, that's fantastic. Yeah, I do have to agree with you. It is an amazing series. I've definitely enjoyed it thus far, and like you said, you didn't get up. I literally like binge watched it. It was just so great. And I was actually working on my second playthrough of both season 1 and season 2 because I was like, I like it so much, I'm gonna watch it again. But it is an all around great series, and I'm very pleased with it, and I hope they keep it going. So how about you guys, Stacy and Sheila?
Well, I did enjoy the series. I do love the storyline about it. And as Ali said, the whole part of Stand By Me, like the bondage of any age of these kids, like the bondage between them. It wasn't like the age difference is such a big deal that they weren't concerned about the younger children. You know, that whole concept of how society is supposed to act just like brought back into like a mysterious horror factor, like bring these kids to be even stronger. It's just a matter of how I look at it, that it just amazes me how one era is so different from today's era, and I wish it never had changed from the aspect of this movie. Like, I don't know.
Very nice.
I have to agree with you guys. I loved it as well, of course. I think the creators hit the jackpot here because they bring something new and exciting to the table when we think about just the paranormal theme overall. Um, you know, we see some pretty interesting creatures in these films and these productions, but nothing like these creatures in Stranger Things. And this alone is enough to keep that fire burning. It's introducing us to other life forms out there aside from those basic alien beings that we, you know, see in many productions that we've been accustomed to. It's making it even more complex than the average paranormal production. So I really do love that about it as well.
Well, since you brought up the creatures, how about we discuss our thoughts on the creatures of the Upside Down? What did you guys think of like the design for the Demigorgon as our first creature of Stranger Things?
Oh, it was so strange. It definitely I love that they used references from Dungeons and Dragons. Just to like rewind just a little bit. I love the references between Dungeons and Dragons used for the world of Stranger Things, whether it's the upside down world or like the actual, you know, what's real life.
The Shadow Veil as they referenced it too.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. I thought that was really cool. And as far as like the creatures go, like the Demogorgon, that was so freaky to me. Like, oh my God, it was so strange. And like, it just reminded me of like, it almost reminded me in a way of like Little Shop of Horrors with the big flower.
That's what I was just gonna say. Did anybody else get the Venus flytrap feel from
Yes.
Demogorgon
all day?
That's exactly what I was thinking when I first saw this creature. I'm like, this thing looks like a walking Venus flytrap.
But you know what I also saw when I saw the Demogorgon, I was seeing the face hugger.
Oh my God, yes.
I was seeing the face hugger, the Venus flytrap and the face hugger, and I'm just like, okay.
Yes, it's like Alien and a Venus flytrap. Like the face hugger and the Venus flytrap made a baby, and it was a Demogorgon.
Yeah. And then you had like the demo dogs, which
oh yeah, those were interesting.
So strange too. And then poor Dustin, who like loved his little pollywog, and then it turned into this like disgusting.
Oh, Dart. Yeah, Dart.
Yeah, like oh man.
Was it a demo dog or a Demogorgon?
No, in season 2, Dustin adopts this little pollywog thing that turns out to morph into a demidog.
Yeah,
a demo dog.
Which is kind of scary. Yeah, it was like a little slug, kind of like what Will coughed up.
I mean, it was cute in the beginning, and then it just like became this like vicious little thing, and it's like, well, shit.
But then it turned into, for me, it turned into like the Venus flytrap, like of that movie that you just stated, like the blood
Little Shop of Horrors.
Like it grew from the blood that he was eating.
From baby Audrey too.
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
exactly. Isn't it funny how we find like the most interesting things to reference from different movies into like series and other movies?
Oh,
it's so funny.
The Demodog actually terrified me. Like, and honestly, because after seeing so many films,
I felt bad for that poor cat.
Oh yeah, no, but when Dustin decided to take it in, I'm like, Dustin, what are you doing? Come on.
It's like
you should know how this plays out. That is not a pet. You should not take that in. You should leave it wherever it came from.
Yeah, you should definitely leave it.
Exactly.
Especially knowing that it came from the upside down.
Right. But sweet old Dustin, and look what happened.
When that thing grew and it opened its mouth, I basically went, nope. I shut it off for like a week or a half because I was like, nope. That just like scringed in my skin. I'm like, nope, I can't watch it. It took me a while to turn back on.
So Dart had you crawling in your skin, huh?
Yeah.
When that thing was a little slug, I would have just stepped on it and smashed it.
Oh yeah, I would have been done with it. Right,
it's
like out of its misery, right?
I'm telling you, I'm like, that's not normal. That's no ordinary slug,
But Michael wanted to smash it, if you recall, in the school when he showed everybody. He was about to smash it, and then
they were gonna destroy it, but Dustin wouldn't let him.
Yeah,
because he grew quite attached of that little
the little slug,
little upside down world slug.
That turned into a demo dog.
Yeah, it turned into a demo dog, which is basically a Venus flytrap facehugger thingy with a dog body.
Like,
oh shit.
I had to look this up. But another thing that the Demogorgon reminded me of too was if you have ever watched Guillermo del Toro's oh god, what's the movie called? Labyrinth. The Pan Labyrinth.
Oh, I know what you're
saying. Oh
yeah. Are you talking about the one with David Bowie?
Wait, no, she's talking about Pan's Labyrinth. It's
Pan's Labyrinth, right?
And you're not talking about that creature thing that sits at the table, are you?
Yeah. With the white
my god, that thing,
eyes on its hands. Well, yeah, definitely, it's creepy. And then what's funny enough is I looked it up, and it says, and like, there's a picture here that says Stranger Things, you'll never guess what inspired this show. I don't know if this is like a legitimate source, but they're kind of putting the connection between Pan's Labyrinth, the Pale Man from Pan's Labyrinth, and the Demogorgon. So there could have been some inspiration there.
I see what you're talking about. I haven't seen Past. I've seen Labyrinth with David Bowie, but I think I'm looking at the creature you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like a gross looking guy, but
yeah.
it was but I thought those monsters, like the special effects on them were very well done. You know, you have such good detailing of like the teeth and the saliva when they open their mouth, and their mouth opens up 4 different directions.
Just like
it's like
or 5 different directions. It's gross.
It pretty much opens up like a flower, and then it's like, oh yeah, look at the lovely flower with all the teeth. Nope.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
It's like kill it with fire.
The saddest part with the demi-dogs though was when they killed oh my god, what was his name? He was dating Winona Ryder in this show.
Oh, Bob.
Bob. Yeah. I love that character.
Bob Newby. I was so sad when he died. I was like, aw.
Bob. Yeah, Bob was, and he was a good. I knew
superhero Bob.
Oh yeah, Bob was a sweetheart. He was.
He really brought like that, like, you know, like him and Steve brought like a lot of heart into the show. Because, you know, you have Steve who like went from being like this, you know, like kind of bad boyish. I mean, he always had a heart, but like,
asshole, for lack of better wording.
Like an asshole. There you go. He was an asshole in the first season, and in the second season, he like, you know, he despite, you know, the fact that his girlfriend is with, you know, running around with some other guy now, you know, to put it like that. But he like helps out with the kids, and he's like got their back, and I mean, he was a stellar guy. And then you also had Bob, who also brought that like that warmth into the show. Yeah, he brought that warmth into the show. Now, when he was first introduced, I knew he was a disposable character. Like, I knew he wasn't going to last. I didn't know how long or how he was not, like, I don't know. I didn't know
for quite a while.
Yeah, I didn't know how long he was not going to be in the show for, or like, you know, how long they were going to keep him into the show for. But they did keep him until the very last episode, if I can recall correctly. And then he was tragically murdered, helping everyone. But he did it because he always wanted that. He kind of portrayed us, like the audience, where like you've always wanted to have some kind of an adventure, and if the opportunity presented itself, you would kind of go forward, like you totally would do it. And he did, and then unfortunately he passed while doing it, but he was definitely like an essential part in the show. So I really love that. Yeah,
poor Steve.
I blame
really
the broom handle for that.
Yeah, I really wanted him to survive.
Me too.
Yeah, he was such a good character.
He was.
Yeah, definitely. But you saw his relationship with Joyce, who's played by Winona Ryder, and you know, and Jim Hopper. Like, you see Winona Ryder, or Joyce and Jim, sort of their chemistry. You know, you see that evolving. So I knew that Bob wasn't going to last very long.
Oh yeah, Bob was a sweetheart, but I didn't really think Joyce liked him that well. I mean, that much. You know, I thought he was probably more into it than she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she was also still more focused on Will.
Yeah.
Because of all the trauma that he suffered. So she was still, you know,
that's
enveloped into that role of being, you know, a protective, good mother. And she was so focused on like Will that, you know, Bob was there, and, you know, she allowed him to comfort her and stuff like that, but she wasn't completely, like, I want to say she wasn't completely all there with Bob.
Right.
It's like her attention was split.
Yeah, it was.
Whereas all of Bob's focus was on her. It wasn't anywhere else.
He wanted to grow the family with her. He wanted to marry her at one point of the show, I believe.
Oh, yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
But
wanted a
I think
future with
she
her.
basically turned him down to a certain extent, or I don't know how it all occurred, but I know she turned him down, and like he stopped asking the question.
Yeah.
Because she's
He
so
got
focused
close
on
with
Will. Yeah.
Heck, I mean, she was pretty much all invested in finding Will. You know, even her oldest son didn't really get too much of her attention.
But then
I
again,
think
Jonathan was pretty good on, taking care of himself anyways.
He was, yeah, him and her. Yeah, Jonathan, he was good. Very
Jonathan
mature.
basically turned into the father figure for Will because his stepfather was such a dick. Excuse my language, but
Oh no, it's very well deserved. Well, his character.
Yeah, you don't have to worry
It's-
about filters on this episode, ladies. You just lay it on the table and you tell it exactly like
because
it is.
like the stepfather didn't even know he was missing. He's like, "Oh yeah, this is my so-called son, Jonathan. Nice to
the
meet
only
you."
reason, yeah,
Wait, wasn't it the only reason he even came back was for money or something
yes,
like
it
that?
was. It was exactly it. He came back only to collect. He didn't care that Will was missing or gone or whatever. He just wanted to collect on money. He was looking for a handout.
Yeah, exactly. So I said the same thing right there. Like, you did get out of their lives and go.
It's like, oh, you're such a shithead. Get out of here. Nobody wants you here.
I'm sorry, but he is a complete dick because Jonathan basically raised his mother and his brother. Basically, he was the one who was cooking breakfast in the morning while the mother was still a mess in her whole entire life.
Yeah,
She could not even lift a finger to help the son out. Like, like
exactly. Yeah, she was too distraught, really. She was too distraught.
And I think
And since we're talking about her, can we just say Winona Ryder did like a fantastic job.
Oh yeah,
she
did.
She was amazing. Like, I was like, wow. I was like, her performance is so like believable. Like, it just draws you in. She was just so good. I was like, wow. I was like, this is like the best stuff that I've seen since the last time I've watched her act in something, which, like you guys had mentioned earlier, she kind of went and she was like a bleep off the radar. She kind of was down under for a while.
But
We didn't
not
really
only
hear about
that,
her.
yeah. And I was just thinking of like how she's like pretty much grown. Not recently, I want to say like last week, I had introduced my daughter Lyric to Beetlejuice, and just seeing her character then and then now Stranger Things, like, man, she's grown.
Yeah, she's grown up a lot. And like, I love to comment also like on her acting in the show. She did such a great job because she really portrayed what a mother, like, I'm not a mother yet, but like she portrayed how a mother would feel if her, watching your child go through something that it's absolutely unexplainable. Like,
she was definitely very convincing.
Extremely convincing. She definitely was, because like, you'll see movies where like there's the mother and their child, and like the mother, like there's always the mother instinct, and everybody knows that in real life. Like, a mother always knows with her child, like, for the most part, definitely. And like, she played it and she like embraced it. That's what it was. She embraced it. Like, all right, my child, there is something completely wrong with my child that's not even explainable in the real world. And like, she did not give up. She found every way possible to like in season 1, when she created the basically like the Ouija board out of the Christmas like that's it. Like, that part right there, like when I saw that dedication, I was like, wow, like that is a damn good mom. Like that's a good mom. Like she wanted to, like she didn't care what
She
people
was willing
thought,
to do whatever to find him.
everything.
Wait,
And
I
I
thought
like
it
how
was. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I
No,
thought
no, go.
the son did the lighting in the house.
No, she did. She got the
Yeah.
idea for the Christmas lights, and
Because remember, I think she thought Will was trying to contact her through light.
Yeah. Yeah, like she would
Hmm.
feel that, like the lamps would
Yeah. Flicker and stuff like
flicker.
that, vibration. So she thought Will was trying to connect with her through light. So that's how she got the Christmas lights and everything.
yeah,
Mhm.
because originally it started with the telephone, and then he used the stereo he put his favorite song on to draw her into the room where all the lights were, and the lights started going nuts.
Yeah. Yep.
And then that's where she got the idea, well, shit, I need to go out and buy like a whole bunch of Christmas lights and string them up all over the place.
Yeah, and then she
Yeah.
put the alphabet, like that was super that was super genius. And like, you know what?
Yeah, the alphabetic Ouija board.
Yeah. That was super genius. And one thing to comment too is about you have this sort of paranormal world with this like scientific world, so to say. And then you also throw in the mix of like the upside down. Like there's so many different dimensions, I guess, and so many different realms that they all kind of connect. And like I hope season 3 really is much more elaborate on how, like, we know that there's this, what is it, like it's a factory, right?
Yeah.
The lab, like this
Yes.
lab, and so you have this lab, but then with the lab you have sort of this, inside of the lab you have this, like all like the black realm, the all black realm, what 11 was pretty much used for this demigorgon. So what is the purpose of this demigorgon? Where does it come from? And then you have it, it's sliced through, because there was that opening, which you remember you had to get all geared up to get in there. But then you have this ability where Will or even 11 could communicate, like, what is it that they're seeing? Are they like ghosts for a moment? Or like, are they seeing the outside world through the upside down, but they can see it? Like, because like they don't show that in the show. They don't show how Will knew how to communicate to his mom. That's what I want to know. Like, that's a question that I have for season 3.
That's like a very interesting point of view. But when he went back to school, and I guess it was Halloween, and then
Mhm.
his body was overtaken by the Demogorgon.
Yeah.
It was basically replacing his world with the upside down world. So
Oh, we're
did
talking
it?
about the Mind Flayer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So did it technically, like, is his world even real to his world, or is it all mental? Because if the mind flare was able to overtake his body at any time of the day, does that mean he's even in the real world at all, or is it just a spirit that was actually there?
Yeah,
I
that's a
think
good question.
Yeah.
I think that when he was brought into the upside down world and they were able to retrieve him at the end of season 1, I don't think that the upside down realm didn't have their claws taken out of them. The upside down realm still had this hold on him still, because obviously the slug that he coughed up, which we find out
Mhm.
is Dart later on, I think that there was still that connection between Will and the upside down world, and it was never truly broken.
Right.
Yeah.
But is
And
Will
to
the? I'm sorry. Is Will the new host for the Upside Down world? Because apparently they didn't get rid of it, and then they brought back Will.
Yeah, and I think when they brought back Will, that obviously that wasn't the only thing they brought back. The Mind Flayer came back with him in a way. Yeah. Speaking of the Mind Flayer, what did you guys think of how
he was scary?
He was. And he's scary. To me, he's scary because he doesn't show up frequently throughout the show. He shows up a couple of times, and that to me makes it more scary.
Yes, and he kind of I don't know about you guys, but he kind of maybe a little bit gives me like the Cthulhu vibe, like tentacles up in the sky.
That.
Yeah. So I was just kind of like, oh damn. It's like when you see Will at the arcade having like an episode and he sees the Mind Flayer up in the sky, it's like, oh boy. It's like, what on earth did Will bring back with him?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we know what the new big bad is. Okay, so let's talk about the CGI and the practical effects for this series. Do you guys like how they did it, or do you guys think that they used too much CGI, or do you think that they did like a healthy balance between the two?
I think the way Stranger Things is, the whole concept and everything, the CGI suits it well. It's not over the top like you see in a lot of other films that uses a incredible amount of CGI. And I love the practical effects. I love the wardrobe choices, the creature effects. They're done extremely well, and they're original creations too. I know we talked about some inspiration from other characters like the Venus flytrap and everything, but I think like these creatures are original designs, and there's a lot of imagination and creativity here in Stranger Things.
Agreed. I agree. Definitely the special effects used was, I mean, because it is a sci-fi series, it naturally is going to have it, but it was very well produced. You know what I mean? Like, you know that obviously good money was put into this show, because if there wasn't a lot of money, the practical effects would have been terrible. But like, obviously it was very well produced. They took their time in elaborating such a strange but realistic world. One thing that I really appreciated and liked very much was whenever you would kind of see like the upside, like a different world, versus their normal world. There was always like these specks, like that, like if it was almost snow flying, but it was like more like, I don't know, like rotten, moldy speckles that were flying around on the screen. And it was really well done. Like, that could have easily been like, oh, let's make something look like snow. And no, like they made it a point to make it look like, to me, it's like, oh my God, it almost seems like rotten mold, like just moldy flesh. I don't know how to describe what it is, but it was very well done, that I know it's something of its own. If you understand what I'm saying, like, I thought that was really well done. And then you also have like, when you see the Mind Flayer, he's, overstanding, like, and then like the thunder, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the thunderbolts, and then you see and you're like, oh shit, season 3, what's gonna happen? Like, so that was really, I really like that. And then again, earlier when we were talking about like the Demogorgon and the Demodog, the way their teeth, the saliva, the way the mouth opens, the body too. Like, if you look at their bodies, they're very strange. Like, we know it's kind of like a human and kind of like a dog, but like, you know what I mean? Like, they're just very
like the discoloration and stuff like that.
Exactly, because they're like this gross, grayish, rotten almost looking like species, like very just they're very unattractive, but also very well done that you want to see it. Like I said, usually like I'm a chicken to any kind of like monster thing, but like I remember pausing it and looking at it and being like, damn, this was well made. Like they really took their time with this and they did a good job of it. And even with 11's, whenever you see 11 and even her sister, like during the lost sister episode, like whenever you would see them do their superpower, they did a really good job. I really liked how, whenever like in season 1, like for example, the ambulance like flipped over, during the lost sister episode, when the sister, she had the ability to make you like hallucinate. So like you would see like, oh, like the one overpass, like it sort of shattered. Like that was, they did a really good job with that. They really did.
Yeah, because she's really good with like getting inside your head.
Yeah.
And making you see things that she wants you to see. Yeah, I did like that aspect of Callie. And just to go back to that episode, the only thing that I really did like about that episode is that Callie helped 11. She helped her evolve more and, kind of say, this is your gift. These are your powers. You need to take your power and you need to own it. You be who you really are, like don't hold back. So I did like that aspect of that episode.
Agreed.
I mean, the rest of it, yeah, I could have done without, but I could see kind of why they did that episode, just to kind of show, Callie did help Elle, progress more with her powers.
Yeah. And like Sheila brought up, I'm curious to see, was that episode to set up for something for season 3? Now it's got my mind working like, I can't wait to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's like, are we gonna see Callie and 11 reunited again?
Yeah.
And to touch on that, I did like that part as well. Now, the one thing I was not a fan of with 11's transformation was how she just transformed into this completely different person, completely unrecognizable. And I felt like it was kind of like stripping a child of his innocence.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, just that whole
the
punk
style
rock
transition and everything
she
in her
had going
demeanor.
on. Yeah. I'm just like, what is going on here? And why?
It's like this isn't the 11 or Jane that we know.
Yeah. What happened to the 11 who loves Egos and like to wear pretty dresses? What happened to that 11? Come back.
What was interesting too is this all like 11's transformation and like her being with Callie and everything. It all happened within like a matter of like a couple of days, if that.
Yeah, it did. Like they had that.
Yeah, it's like a crash course. Since we're talking about 11, let's talk about 11 like all together. What were your thoughts about 11 as a character, her abilities, her evolution? Like personally, she was like my favorite character of like the entire episode, like the entire series.
So I would say my initial reaction to 11 was actually shock. I couldn't really believe that someone so young in age would be cast in such a drastic role. And I mean all of the young actors too while we're talking about it. Because this series is such a complex concept, and I thought would call for more, like more aged actors. But as the series played on, I was in awe at these young actors' maturity in their performance levels and their abilities to tackle these roles. And Millie Bobby Brown, she has one of the most complex roles to take on here. 11's character overall is complex. Her story is both sad and courageous. Her powers are compelling. And I like how she evolves from that scared and confused girl running for her life to the bold, daring, and aggressive young lady that isn't scared of it, that isn't afraid of anything anymore.
I do
Well,
have to agree with you on that, Stacy. She definitely was one of those characters that was definitely very compelling, and like from her first appearance where you see her, you know, in Benny's what was that, diner?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was yeah,
Yeah.
she was in the front.
I felt so bad for her. The first time I ever saw her, I felt so bad for this girl.
Yeah.
I'm like, look at this girl. She's like in a hospital gown. She looks like she's been through hell and back, and she's scared. And
She
I
got
was
a
just like,
number stamp on her. Where the hell has she
it's
been?
like it's like where the hell?
And to sort of point out, she was born in 2004. So right now she's she's gonna turn 15 in February. I just looked up her info real quick. She's gonna turn 15 in February. So when they recorded this show, or when the show first aired in 2016, she was only 12 years old, 11, 12 years
Yeah.
old during the filming and the release of the first season. And she was very young. And I completely agree, for her to be that young and to play such a compelling role. I mean, that was and such a compelling role for TV, for a series. Like, I mean, it's groundbreaking. It's really good. She did amazing. She did amazing, and she played her role very good. She was it was very well casted, because if you think of 11, like just the character of 11 alone, she's got to be like this bad bitch who, like, even though she's only 11, 12 years old, she's a badass, because she just was released, or she escaped from this place that she knew was going to cause her nothing but, like, harm and danger. She figured a way to get out and try and survive. She meets these boys, probably never interacted with any other kid, let alone boys in her life, period. She takes a great liking to Mike, and Mike takes a great liking to her, and they feel the need to protect each other. And then moving on forward, she's sort of accepting herself and understanding that she has a purpose, and to be able to trust, because if you realize, she kind of had a little bit of trust issue, or she had trust issues. Like, she just keeps, like, evolving, so we see her grow. Now in season 3, she's 14 years old right now.
Mhm.
So I guess during the filming of what's season 3, she must have been about 13, 14. She's about 13, 14. And it'll be just so interesting to see her develop on screen as well as off screen. I do, and just to kind of go a little off topic and more on a personal role, I do follow her on Instagram, and she's a very, like, stand-up young lady. Like, I do have to comment that, and I think
Oh,
that
she's
brings
awesome.
that. Yeah, like, I like her person and her personality, and, like, she brings a lot of that edge that she naturally has. She brings that to the show, like,
Yeah.
definitely brings it to the show. So she's got her own personality in the show, as well as, the direction that she's being given, and what's written in the script as well. So I do like that. I do like her as a character.
Speaking of Miss Millie, and then we'll get back on the topic here. Miss Stacy here met Miss Millie.
Oh, nice. When?
Oh yeah, I went to Comic-Con. When was this? Comic-Con, was it last summer or summer before last? I want to remember before last, when Comic-Con came here to Cleveland, and
Mhm.
uh that was the only thing I mean, actually I went there on business for DecayMag. Go in
Mhm.
there, get interviews and stuff like that. And like, out of the whole trip, I'm like, I want a picture with Millie Bobby Brown. So I saved my money to get that picture. I spent like $300 on my daughter for everything she wanted. All I wanted was a picture with Millie Bobby Brown, and I was so happy to get that picture. And she's awesome. She's really nice. She actually asked me, she's like, "Where's your little girl?" And I'm like, "Oh, she's with my mom." And yeah, she's really nice. She is.
Yeah. I like that. I like seeing young actors that are humble and like
Yeah.
play like such a tremendous role, even if like their character is like an asshole. Like I like when they're like so humble in real life because it even makes you like the show or whatever it is that they're working in. You like it even more. Like you connect to them even more. So I think that's dope.
Well, my thoughts of 11 was I thought when I first met her that she did not have the child growth that a child needed. I feel like her whole childhood was traumatized by what this man that she calls Papa, if that was even his her real Papa, basically destroyed of what a child is supposed to grow up. So inside of her, she really had, the toughness to survive. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and she just wanted to, she saw a different side of herself when she met Mike and his friends, and that changed her perspective of what a person was really supposed to act on. So the part of toughness and going solo and not having the capability to have childhood friendship brought to me like two different sides of 11 that made her the person she is, and
Mm-hmm.
also the trust in the police officer because they had their butt heads going throughout the episode 2, no, season
Mm-hmm.
2, with her living with him and her trying to protect her in a way that she didn't understand. So he was actually trying to be a father figure to her, and she did not know what a father figure was until
Yeah.
the end, when he started trusting her to go out in the real world because he got her freedom.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. I did like, and related to her with like her dad or I'm sorry, not her dad, with Jim. Um because we all as daughters go through that with like a parent, like let me be my own person, and you fight and you get into your things. Obviously with her it's a little more extreme because this isn't like a biological parent. It's the first parent that she sees really does show her love and like is super concerned for her and her well-being. And then you just kind of see that dynamic. I really enjoyed where like it was like a sequence where like she wouldn't talk to him and he would kind of try to and she wouldn't and he would, and then she kind of like, you know like things kind of calmed down and then she spoke to him again. That was like
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
how about that fight that 11 and Hopper had? How
Oh,
about that
you know
temper
what?
tantrum of hers?
yeah.
No, you know what? I had a love hate. I had a love hate thing with Jim and 11 because he was awesome to save her and take her in as his own and everything, and he's protecting her from the people out there. And then here she is. She's Because first and foremost, she's human, regardless of what she's been through, what her papa,
Mhm.
put her through and everything. Her human side comes out, and it's like, okay, I want to do what other people my age are doing. I want to get out there. I want to make friends. I want to do this. I want to live life now. But he's holding her so close, and she's like pretty much lashing out. Oh, but that tantrum you talking about Halloween? Are you
Oh
talking
yeah. Oh yeah, that tantrum.
That was
Ooh.
such an awkward moment right there. I'm thinking like these two are up here fighting like they're a married couple, not right about now.
Slams the door in his face, throws the
Oh,
bookshelf.
But like,
my.
but it's so fun. Like it's funny and it's awkward, but it's like Yeah, I did that once. Like I did that as a rebellious young kid. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
a
you mean
young teenager
you
trying to get my
screamed so
way.
loud that you like shattered like the glass in your
Oh
house, like the
no, no, no,
windows in your house?
obviously, she does have these like super abilities, so it's different with her. But there was a moment where I was like, "This is adorable!" Like just like for there was definitely a moment where I thought it was kind of cute.
I mean, I do understand that Hopper was only trying to do what was best for 11.
Yeah.
He was trying to protect her. He was trying to keep her safe. But dude, there's a limit. And if you suffocate her too much, like which he did, she ended up rebelling and going against his wishes anyways. Instead of, trying to give her, a little bit.
Yeah.
Even if he just let her go out of the house and kind of like just I don't
Did
know,
flowers
like
and stuff. Just let me go
followed
pick
her,
flowers.
like
But he
followed
was,
her from
but
like a distance or
he did
something.
what any concerned like adult or parent would do in a way. Even though like there isn't, he did that where he knew the dangers of and the consequences if she stepped out of the house, what could happen to her. He knew it, and he knew it very well, and he kept, he would like kind of try to tell her that, but she just wasn't having it. And
Because also to take into mind that this is where she's coming from. This is her background. This is what she's been subjected to for however long she's been contained. So, like the way he's treating her, she kind of feels like she's back in that whole, situation
Confined
again. Probably.
the confinement, yeah.
Yeah, and pretty much kind of like being a prisoner, So.
Yeah, he's telling her that she's free in a matter of speaking, but she doesn't really feel free. I mean, given the child like a TV, and not letting her leave the house and go out into the world isn't really free. I mean, yeah, we all understand that he was trying to protect her, but you can only do so much. And 11 is pretty good at taking care of herself.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like.
But the best. I'm sorry. The best was when Hopper, Officer Jim, basically broke the TV. That pushed 11 button.
Oh yeah, that pissed her off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like not only are you keeping me prisoner in this house, but now you just broke my only source of entertainment.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Yeah, and that was pretty much that was also like, aside from it being like her entertainment, it was her way of reaching out to Mike. Yeah, it was her way of reaching out to Mike and trying to have that connection with Mike, from a distance, when all she really wanted was to see Mike in person.
Right. And I really love that whole like little chemistry her and Mike had. And also, you know what? While we're on that, like those two were so adorable.
They were.
They were, weren't they? And like when you go to like, who was your least favorite character, I had to go back and forth between Lucas and Billy because well, see, Luke, like, you know what, Lucas, it's like I'm in the middle of the spectrum because he cares about Mike. He wants to get his friend back. He's doing everything to get Will back. He just wants Will back and Will safe. But he doesn't like fully accept 11 like the other ones have. He's not all romanced and all, goo goo gaga for uh 11, and he kind of treats her like she's the enemy. So I didn't like that.
Oh,
And
Lucas?
he's real hard on her.
Yeah, he's
But
skeptical He's skeptical of her from the beginning. Like, he thought that she was like the weirdo, the outcast, like she was no good, and
he
she was
doesn't let
nothing
up
but
for
trouble.
a while, right? He doesn't
Yeah,
let up for a while.
he put that up for a while, almost all the way to the end of the first season.
Right.
To put it up.
Now, but I ended up settling for Billy Hargrove document because and I took a moral approach to this, like the whole tough guy bully right there. I wasn't in favor of, because just like when you think about now today, how like bullying is at an all-time high and everything, and just
Mhm.
the aftermath of bullying. So I was thinking about that when I was like thinking of Billy. So yeah, he's like my least favorite character.
With Lucas, like with the four boys, so with Mike, Dustin, Lucas, and Will, they each play like a pretty, like they each have like their defined role. So Mike is like the leader of the pack. He's a big hearted. Dustin is obviously the comic of the group with the biggest imagination. Will, unfortunately, to me, just plays the victim. I can't
Yeah,
say anything else about Will except he is the victim.
he
That's
And
really
what
I guess
we see him predominantly be as, is the victim.
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
he's the damsel in distress.
Yeah, he's basically
Yeah.
the damsel in distress throughout both seasons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like and I mean, he does play the role very well because obviously he is going through some crazy shit. So
Oh,
obviously
yeah.
he's definitely good. He plays the role, and then like the role of the damsel in distress, like you're saying, and then you have Lucas, and Lucas to me is like the voice of reason.
He
Like
really is.
yeah, he really is. Like in any group um that you see throughout film, TV, and even real life amongst friends, there's always like that one friend who's like extremely who's like super skeptical, who like if there's no like Lucas to me is like white or black. Like it's like there's a white or there's a black, but there's no gray. Like there's no middle,
Right.
there's no like all right, I don't I need to see
He's
the
pretty much,
fact.
yeah. Like,
Yeah,
while
like
y'all up here falling for her, we need to go find Will.
yeah,
You
like
know,
you guys
you know.
exactly. That's Lucas to me to the T. Like Lucas to me is like the most grown up. I feel like because he like I said he is the voice of reason. He loves his friends. Like you see that he loves Will, wants to find Will, loves Mike, wants to protect Mike, loves
Change.
Dustin, always jokes with Dustin, always like they team up really well. And so for Lucas, and then like even when like the new character comes in too,
Max.
yeah, when Max comes in again, Lucas is like, okay, like are we gonna do this again, guys? Like another girl to come into our group? Absolutely not. Like Lucas was not having it because he knew that anything new to the group or anything new to the dynamic would at first might be a problem, but then throughout time Lucas warms up and realizes, okay, this is more of a advantage than a disadvantage. And that's who Lucas is. Lucas is like our little voice of not, I won't say worry, but he's like our voice of like, okay, stay on your toes, don't trust too much. Like that's who he is. He's like our conscience almost throughout the episode, throughout the show.
I'm sorry to say it, but I disagree with you because I thought that was Mike.
Really?
Well,
You think so?
Yes.
Well, actually, to intervene for just one moment, ladies. In the first season, Lucas was the one that was like, skeptical of everybody, and especially 11. He was the most skeptical of 11. Season 2, it goes into Mike being skeptical, switching the roles, because Mike is the one that's skeptical of Mad Max and doesn't want her infiltrating the group, because he doesn't want Jane or 11, her position replaced. He doesn't want her replaced. He doesn't want any other girl in the group because he felt that it should be reserved for 11. So I did notice that, but continue.
Because I feel like Mike was the one who kept the group together. Like I felt like Lucas and Dustin were a little on the outside of the whole, we gotta find Will, and the whole help Will's situation.
Mm-hmm.
Mike was the one that I feel that kept them pushing them to keep the group going to find Will's body, even if it was not what recommended from the cops in season 1. Mike went out of his way to try to help his best friend because his best friend was his number one dude. Like
Yeah.
Lucas and Dustin felt like backups to Mike, but he really haven't had that connection like he had to Noah, aka Will, in the whole storyline. In storyline 2, Mike was still by Will's side while Lucas and Dustin were fighting over Max.
Oh, you're right. I got you're right. You're right. I take back Lucas being skeptical in season 2. You're right. He was fighting. Oh my God. Like that escaped my mind for a second.
Dustin and Lucas were going back and forth over Max. Like,
That's right. That is
Googling
right.
over.
That's right. Now, Lucas was still skeptical about like their situation, like naturally, of course. But yes, as far as Max goes, you're right. They were both kind of like, and she ended up kissing Lucas.
That was at the prom.
Yeah. Lucas and Max ended up kissing, and then I don't remember.
Dustin became, I believe, Mike's sister's ex-boyfriend's like sidekick, like his so-called the babysitter.
Yeah.
Steve. He was Steve's sidekick, that's for sure. Like they had a bromance, and I
definitely
that
had a
was
bromance.
cute too. That bromance was adorable.
That romance was solid.
Yeah. And he wanted to be so much like Steve. Remember when he wanted his hair and everything like Steve? And that one part when he just like rolled his tongue. I'm just like, oh my God.
Oh my God. I have to bring something up about the hair real quick. Anybody else get like that like the dance night where like Dustin went off to the dance and how his hair was slicked back and how he was dressed? Did anybody else get the ducky feel from like Pretty in Pink?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I was like, oh my God.
That was to me, that was definitely a Pretty in Pink reference. I got it. I definitely did. I thought it was so cute.
That's so great that you guys caught on to that too. I was like, please tell me when we talk about this, I'm not the only one that's gonna get that reference.
Oh, I got it. I saw it. I definitely saw it. I thought it was so cute. Like I think out of in the whole series, I think really my favorite character has definitely got to be Steve, because I really liked his growth. And I liked his character development from episode 1, season 1 to, episode 8, season 2. Like from the beginning to the end, I feel like Steve, he changed. He grew this huge heart. I liked his maturity and how he handled. Like obviously, at first, he was bitter.
He was an asshole.
Well, since we're talking about it, how about
Nancy? I'm sorry.
I said, just to interrupt for a second, since we're talking about, our, since you mentioned it, how about we talk about our favorite characters? And since you're talking about Steve, we'll go around after you're done and we'll talk about who our favorite characters are and why. So continue.
Okay. Yep. So Steve, the way he handled, him and Nancy not being together, and Nancy being attracted to Jonathan, and he was pretty diplomatic about it. After all, when it came to at the end of it, he was pretty diplomatic about it. And like to him, his main concern was like these kids. Like he needed to make sure these kids were okay, because he could have his character could have just been like, yeah, not my problem, and could have walked away. But he was invested in it, and he genuinely was like, all right, I got to make sure that, my guys are okay. I got to make sure that, they don't die. I love how he was just so ready. Like, he took the baseball bat and he like fixed it up. To me, which, by the way, I don't know, maybe Walking Dead reference. I'm not sure, with the baseball bat. But I do like how I just like his person. I really did. I really loved the maturity that he showed, and his sense of responsibility towards these kids, and his relationship with Dustin, and that bromance that came up, because I thought that was very sweet and very genuine. And it's like, I want to see that. I want to see more of that in real life too. So I really like Steve. Steve is my guy. He's my favorite.
Well, 11 was definitely my favorite. I stated that earlier. I just thought she was great. Her character development was great. It was strong. She went from being this scared little girl to like this fierce, like unstoppable force that wasn't afraid of anything or anyone. And she played like a big role as like a protector. She really did live up to her D&D title of the group, the mage, because her powers were crazy. And she was just my favorite because of like the fact that she could do like telekinesis and everything, and her bond with Mike, and how she like eventually became like this big piece of the group, and how the group was affected by her quote unquote loss until they found her again in the second season. So yeah, 11 was my favorite, aka Jane.
Well, for me, it was pretty much Jonathan. I like Jonathan's character too much because he was this shy kid. He didn't know anybody besides Steve's girlfriend, and they weren't really talkative. He kept quiet. He was a photographer that kept to himself. And then he grew into like this guy that was pretty much protective of his family. He even for his like mother to like allow him to say that his little brother, aka his only best friend, and wasn't dead. So he even fought everybody, and he went out of the way to the Russian dude.
Yeah.
The reporter, I don't know, I don't recall his name, but he went there with the girlfriend, and that was the first time he lost his virginity. So he actually always loved her, but was never able to express it or able to even show his character as a different person other than what was actually shown on screen as a shy guy, the outcast, and the nobody. So for him to be the character that he was at the end of season 2, which is, happy and a better-go-lucky guy that, knows how to fight for, what he believes in, is the reason why I chose Jonathan, because of how his whole storyline came together from this absolutely nobody to what he is.
So my favorite character, aside from 11, and I'm gonna, because I think 11 is the central character that just about everyone, if not everyone, loves. So I'm gonna focus on my second favorite character, which is Joyce Byers. And she really owns this character. It's one of the best portrayals of a distraught, distressed, and desperate mother I have seen. And I love that she never gives up hope and her search for Will, even when the odds are against her and are extremely low. And I feel this character really engages the audience on an emotional level.
I definitely have to agree with you. Joyce was very, very good as a character in the story as well. She had a very strong, compelling lead. And Jonathan was good as well. So far,
Yeah,
everybody is pretty good. Yeah, it was kind of hard to.
Everybody
It's
was
kind of hard to
good.
pick. Yeah, it was kind of hard to pick when it got down to it. Like pick down to one, but there were so many that were like so good for so many reasons, and like even like the whole Jonathan Nancy, Steve Nancy, like I don't know, love triangle thing was kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But so did everybody talk about who they wanted to talk about?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think I definitely hit. Steve's my guy.
Yep.
I get to
Steve was
see
definitely
both
your
of them.
favorite.
Steve's my
Joyce
favorite.
Joyce for
And you know,
Stacy.
and you know what? I have this like love hate with Billy too, because again, the whole bullying thing, everything I did not like. But I also found him kind of hot. So
Oh, because of them denim jeans, huh? It was
yeah,
the jeans, wasn't it?
the bad boy and everything. That
Oh
whole
gosh, yeah, because it's always the bad boy image that just sucks you in, and then you're a goner. That's it.
Oh,
right,
facts.
Game
right.
over.
Right. So and he did really well in that character too. He owned that character as well. So
Yeah, he did. He was so
yeah.
douchey.
Oh,
He was
I'm
that.
like, why did he have to own that character so well? Like, dude, I don't know how to feel about you right now. You're
It's
hot,
like I
but
want to
I
hate.
don't
It's
like
like I want
this.
to hate you, but damn.
Like, yeah, I hate. Yeah, exactly.
Now his haircut. Let's talk about that haircut. Jesus.
Oh,
Oh
like the
man.
mullet? Was it like a
Oh
But wait,
mullet?
wait, wait, wait. This was the 80s, right? Was this the 70s or the
It
80s?
was. It was the 80s.
So
So
yeah, we got to think about that. The fashion, the hairstyles, and everything. This is that time and that era. So yeah, it was interesting. But you know what I kept thinking about seeing all this fashion? I kept thinking of Grease.
really.
The movie Grease.
That's so
Yes.
great.
Interesting. I mean, because Greece does take place in the 50s,
Yeah, I know it's the 50s. I just
but
their whole like.
fashion does repeat itself.
Mhm.
So I can see that. I can definitely
And
see that.
what about the movie Lost? Wait, is it no? Is it Lost? No, I don't know if it was the Lost Boys or
Yeah, were there vampires?
yeah,
Yes.
and I'm talking about like the whole fashion and hairstyles and that whole
Yeah.
vibe. It was another movie. It's an older movie as well. I want to say it's the 70s. That also has this fashion and hair. There's a movie that I had to watch in school, uh, called the something Riders, and that also has this fashion and hair. It's probably a 70s movie.
Mm,
Is it the Easy Riders or the
maybe
mm, um
someone want to Google that?
Yeah, I'm
I'm
looking it
trying
up
to
now.
I'm also looking on IMDb trying to see what it was called.
Easy Riders.
Wait a minute. Is it Easy Riders? It's not
It's 1969, 1970 with the motorcycle.
no, it's not that. No, I think this is kind of a 70s movie. But it's not that movie. You guys go ahead. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Go ahead.
All right, so let's continue on while Stacy's looking that up. Do you
Yeah.
guys think that they picked good actors for this series? Do you think that they fit their characters well?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like this was very well casted. There isn't one character that I hate. Obviously the bad guy, I'm not going like the bad guy, but um even the bad guy, like it was well portrayed. It wasn't like cheesy, like, yes, I did this because like I hate in a movie when I watch a movie and like the bad guy does this extremely long dialogue as to why he did what he did. I hate that. And now one character, at least that I can recall off on the top of my mind, did that, and I appreciate that. So that's more like in more of the screenwriting, but um the characters again were very well casted. And I think that that's such a good part. That's so important. with a show like this, and why this show is so successful is because everyone has their role and everyone plays it very well. You don't think much of like when I think of Stranger Things, um, I don't think so much of Nancy, who's played by Natalia Dyer. Like, she's not a character that comes to my mind right away. But then when I'm like, oh yeah, Nancy, like I do like her. You know what I mean? I like her person. They're, like I said, even those like second tiered actors, they also still do a good job. I like Max, played by Sadie Sink. I think she did a great job. I liked how she was like kind of like, I'm a badass. I kind of do what I want. I want to rebel. In a way, sort of. Her character and Eleven's character almost go hand in hand. Almost. Young girls, their living situation isn't the greatest. And they got to prove themselves, and they do it very naturally. Like they're just naturally badass girls. So I think that everybody's role, even if it's much smaller, they do a really good job. And Bob was again a character who was pretty much a disposable character, but he was a great character. Like he really brought a lot of heart to the season, and like you really, really loved his relationship, especially when he was trying to break down like the Will's barrier, and it was almost awkward. But you liked it and you enjoyed him, and you when he died, you felt it. You're like, damn, poor Bob. But I think everyone's character, and everyone's role, big or small, was really good. I also liked, just to go a little deeper, I liked Eleven's mom, Jane's mom.
Oh yes.
I cannot recall her name.
Terry
that-
Ives.
And that was so
Okay.
sad. Her mom, like, I really can't wait. I hope in season 3 they get more into like character backstories. They get more into character development. Because I really want to hear more about her mother. That was so sad.
That was really sad, and it was. And one real quick thing, I think one of the coolest breakthrough, like those aha moments in the show was when, she would repeat this, like there was like a sequence of words that she would repeat,
Actually, it
over
was
and over.
numbers and then rainbows and then
Yeah,
something else.
sunflower, rainbows.
And then a couple numbers. It was for the
Numbers
safe,
for a
and then
safe,
the rainbow
yeah.
room.
No, basically that was her remembering the time that she tried to fight for 11 and get her back from the doctor. And then they basically electrocuted her brain. I don't know which episode it was, but I think it would happen like towards the end of season 1, that you actually understand a little bit more, or was it in episode season 2?
It was
I'm
in
not
season 2.
okay.
Yeah.
That she actually sees something about her mother, but even though she was so young, she couldn't picture her mother's face until that particular moment.
Yeah, when she found the file on her mother inside the cabin that Hopper's keeping her in, and she finds out that her mother is really alive after Hopper told her that she no longer had a mother.
Correct. That did happen.
Yeah,
that did happen.
I am kind of, since we're talking about what we're hoping to see for season 3. What are you guys hoping will develop in season 3? Which, by the way, for our listeners, the season 3 is to be released on July 4th of 2019.
So Independence Day. My Independence Day will be myself eating a couple of hot dogs, hamburgers, and watching Stranger Things.
Awesome.
Actually,
what do you?
sangria and on the couch watching Stranger Things and not worry about what's going on the outside.
Oh, absolutely not. When season 2 came out, if I recall correctly, actually, let me just take a quick peek here. Season 2 came out on October 27th. So when I saw it, I mean, basically what I did is for Halloween, that's how I celebrated Halloween, is I watched Stranger Things, and like kids were like knocking on the door, and I'm like, no, sorry, no Halloween for you. I'm in my house, like I'm in my room right now watching Stranger Things. That's what I did. And that might sound a little cruel, but I really was just like, Stranger Things, nothing got me up. So this year again, nothing in the world doesn't exist. I'm watching Stranger Things.
Yeah. So what are you guys hoping to see in season 3? What are you hoping is going to unravel in season 3? What are your hopes for it?
I'm hoping more background story or more relationship between 11, her sister, and the mother. Maybe they go and meet her together, and 11 breaks her sister to be from a badass to a normal person, and brings her back to having an actual family, because she thinks these robbers and everything is her family, and they're only using her to get money. So I just feel like 11's sister needs to come back, because that piece I would like to see it maybe break down into something else.
Yeah, I agree. I really want to see what happens with like what's the backstory with mom, what's the backstory with 11, what happened the day that 11 was born, what happened on that day, what was it that Papa saw in 11 that this supernatural, this superpower that he sees in her, what like where did that stem from,
What
and
made
then
him want to take her? Yeah.
Yeah, and like and these demigorgons, like what are these creatures and what do they have to do with this facility? That's what I'm really curious about. I'm curious to know how, like when I mentioned earlier, with these different realms and how they're connected. Like I'm really interested to knowing how, like what is it that connects these worlds, especially like the ups. I really want to see too, like I think it'd be really awesome if they showed sort of like an episode of Will when he was in the upside down and when he was trying to communicate. Like I would love to see something like like what how did he do it? I would love to see that. I think that would be super interesting to see. And if directed the right way, I think it would be really cool for people to see that.
I have to agree with you both so far.
I agree with you guys. Just overall character development, more plot development, is what I want to see in season 3.
Yeah, I want to see who the big bad's going to be in season 3.
Yeah. And who's new? Who's going to come on board that's new? As far as like, are they going to add a new teammate? Is there going to be a new person, or maybe someone who's already there, just they're going to play a more heavier role as far as being on the team with the guys and with 11. Obviously just from the poster alone, you can see that, Will and I'm sorry, Mike and Millie, they're in a relationship. They're holding hands. We do see in the poster that both Will and 11 are sort of looking away from the fireworks, and they're seeing that there's something sort of breaking the concrete walls. So I'm curious to see what it is that they see. There's rats. I don't know if you girls have to, are looking at the poster right now, and even the audience. So there's a lot of things, like I'm zooming into it and I'm looking at it, and I'm just curious to see and know what's next. You know, it seems like maybe the lab gets breaking, like, you know, the lab is like a shot, or I don't know. I'm trying to find the word. Like it gets broken, and you see the ooze coming out, and just, you know, is it going to affect the greater population now?
Yeah, you all have pretty much made like really valid points, I want to say, or pretty much you guys have said what I would already say for what I'd like to see for season 3. I have to agree with everybody, really. Like the more character development, more backstories on each character, especially, you know, like Millie's family, or should I say 11's family in the series, and 11 herself. See how the development goes between like 11 and Mike, and Nancy and Jonathan, or, you know, different relationships, you know, like Lucas and Max, etc. And we did notice in the end of season 2 that the mind flayer wasn't really gone, I guess.
Yeah.
Did anybody else notice that?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
shows up at the end of the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Does this mean
And
that they're now freshmen in high school?
I think they are.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
definitely older. I think they might be juniors because didn't they start Stranger Things season 1 as them coming in as freshmen?
I thought it was them in middle school, but I could be wrong.
And it is confirmed. I am looking at pictures in Stranger Things season 3, and they do show a picture of the sister. So they are possibly bringing back the sister and that storyline.
Okay, cool.
Good.
Yeah, and all we need is a sister. We don't need that whole crew she was with.
Yeah,
No,
the crew was a bit excessive.
Yeah, we don't need all that. We just need the
Yeah.
sister. That's all.
Yeah, we just want to see more development
right.
between Callie and Jane.
And the mother, see more development with the mother. What's her backstory about, really?
Yeah,
I mean, they kind
Terry.
of touched on it on a. See, that's the thing. Like they touch on.
Yeah, they gave us a tease, pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they did. They tease you with, like, you know, just these really brief little backstories here. So, yeah, that's why we need more character and plot development. So, but yeah, that whole little crew, Callie was with. We don't need all that. We don't need that.
So I did Google like what grades would the kids from Stranger Things be in? Reddit .com says someone, I mean, take it with a grain of salt, but someone said the younger kids were in middle school. Nancy was about 16, 17, and Steve was definitely a senior in high school. And Jonathan might be between Nancy and Steve's age. So I think Nancy and Jonathan might be juniors, and then Steve is a senior. So then maybe when season 3 rolls around, you know, the younger kids will be in high school, like starting off high school. Jonathan would be, so to say, or I'm sorry, Steve would be, so to say, starting college. And then Nancy and Jonathan would probably still be in high school.
So that gives
We'll
us
see.
an idea of
Way to clear
what
that
we're going to
up.
be looking at.
Yeah, and I miss Steve. Bring Steve back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's
Give
just
him
not going to
back
be.
to
It's
us.
just not going to be Stranger Things without the
I
world's best
know.
babysitter.
I know. Give
Yeah.
Upside Down needs to give him back to us.
I just have a quick question. What did they do with Billy?
Oh yeah, that's
I'm
right.
just
What did they do?
Well,
I'm
did
just
Billy just kind of
curious.
disappear or something? I mean, like you've seen him a few times in there. I don't know what happened to Billy. Maybe he just
Because
dis-
at the end of season 2, they drug him up, they beat the living shit out of him, and then they tape him up and take his car. But that was the end of you heard of Billy. So
Yeah, he's safe at home. Bruised up.
So you guys are are you guys hoping that they bring back the bad boy?
yes,
Yeah.
I kind of do, because without Billy, most of the other things that happen in the storyline just get dropped. And
yeah. I hope they bring him back, but make him just a nicer Billy.
A more humble Billy.
A more humble
Yeah.
Billy.
Yeah.
You know, make
How
him
did you
still
guys
make
feel
him.
about his background of why he was the way he was in the series?
well, I think
Refresh
he
my
was
memory.
just technically abused from his father in general.
Yeah, his
that's what
dad
it
was a
sounds like.
major asshole.
Yeah.
He was, and then it seemed like he was like forced with the responsibility of his. And wait, weren't they like brother and sister through marriage? Really, they weren't like blood.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
weren't.
they were
They weren't related by
stepsister.
blood.
Yeah,
Like,
and he was pretty much forced with, you know, making her his responsibility, and I think that added a lot of pressure on him.
But he was also feeling rejected in the family because since he got the new wife, technically speaking, Billy was basically the nobody in the
Yeah.
father's eyes.
So yeah, I think more on Billy's backstory would be good as well. I mean, even though he's not like a main character, I think he's still an essential piece to the story. So that whole, I would like to see, his whole backstory and everything as well.
Well,
it.
I pretty much want Billy to come back because
I do too.
Billy and Steve had a brawl between one another. Billy
Yeah, they were
basically
competitive.
Billy basically had like a protective issue with Max, which brought back Lucas and Dustin's arguments, who wants her first. So, there's a lot of connection between Billy, even if he's not a main character.
Right.
So, just real quick, if someone can refresh my memory on what had happened to Steve again at the end of the season, I don't recall.
Well, Steve got pretty much beat the shit out of by Billy before Max basically stuck a needle in Billy's neck and
Right.
numbed his whole
Wait, wait, wait,
body.
wait, wait. Didn't I think Max actually? She took that. Didn't she take that like bat with needles in it or something like that,
The bat with
and hit Billy
nails.
with it? Yeah, the bat
Yeah.
with nails, and she
Yeah,
hit
she's
Billy
gonna
with
threaten to hit him with it. Yeah, she got right in his face with it.
it. Right.
Oh, she didn't hit him. She threatened him. I remember he like backed
Okay.
down. And
Yeah,
then
he was
Steve,
genuinely afraid of her.
and then with Steve, what again? One more time. I missed that one.
Steve got beaten the shit out by Billy when he tried to get Max to bring her back home because Max was missing for a couple of hours and got Billy in so much trouble with the
So
family.
when Billy showed up to collect Max, he was pissed.
Yeah, because he got in trouble.
Yeah,
I think they really did
because he got
put like a lot
scolded.
of. I think they really put a lot of responsibility on Billy, being like he was older than Max, and he was pretty much forced to, like I said, just all this responsibility. Like everything she does, he has to, you know, and he pretty much just really wanted to live his life the way he wanted. And like you guys said, he didn't really feel accepted by, um, his family really.
Okay, and but at the end of just clear this up for me. At the end of season 2, though, didn't Steve drop Dustin off at the dance?
Yes.
And then the fight happened after that?
No, I thought the Steve was before. Because Steve came to, I believe, Will's house with a broken face almost.
I think didn't Steve and Billy got into it at Will's house.
Yes.
Yeah, they got into it at Will's house. They had a throwdown.
Right.
Because originally originally they were going to use the needle for something else. For I think what was it? Was it Dart? I'm trying to remember what they were originally going to use the needle for, but they ended up using it on Billy. Anyways, what did you guys think of the Upside Down world?
I thought it was creepy as hell, and if I'm ever in that situation, but the thing that I don't understand about the Upside Down world, Nancy's best friend, the nerdy girl, she was actually
Barbara.
down there, Barbara, but they never was able to retrieve her.
Yeah,
No,
because she died.
was dead.
She's dead. I thought maybe she survived as well from.
No, she died in the first season. They found her dead. 11 actually did when they put her in the sensory deprivation makeshift sensory deprivation tank with the swimming pool in the gym. 11 went in to look for Will and Barbara, and the first one she found was Barbara in the Upside Down, and one of the things that resembles Dart came crawling out of her mouth, and she didn't look like she was coming back to life anytime soon.
No,
she was
not.
dead. And 11 even said, "Gone." Yeah, there was no bringing poor Barb back, and I felt bad for Barbara. I was just like, "Damn, what a way to go!"
Yeah, that's so
and
sad.
it like crippled Nancy. Like Nancy felt so guilty about it. Like it just ate her up inside.
Yeah, I agreed. That was sad. I was like, dang, poor Barb. One thing I just so I IMDb'd again Stranger Things for the new season, and I noticed, there's a lot of things about the mall. Chapter 2 is going to be the mall court. I'm sorry, the mall. It's called the Mall Rats. Chapter 2, the Mall Rats. And then let's see here. There's a picture of what the mall is. It's called Star Court. And then the last episode is called The Battle of Star Court. So it looks like they're gonna have it's giving me like the Dawn of the Night of the Living Dead, the mall one.
Oh, Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of there you go. I'm getting a couple things confused there.
It's all good.
Right. Dawn of the Dead. My favorite arcade game is was it the Dawn of the Living Dead?
House of the Dead.
But I'm sorry?
Was it House of the Dead?
Yeah, arcade there we go. House of the Living Dead. Okay, but for season 3, the mall, so then there's like the mall, but then it's I'm sorry, just go back. It's reminding me of what was it again? The second movie where it takes place in the mall, the Living Dead.
Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, Dawn of the Dead.
There we go. So it's giving me those kind of vibes. So it looks like a lot of shenanigans that might happen.
They're going to take place in the mall.
Yeah.
By the sounds of it. Yeah, I'm looking at the page as well, and I'm also looking at the episode titles for the season, and yeah, it does look like a big chunk of it is going to take place in the Star Court.
Definitely the mall, and then you've got the rats at the bottom of like if you see the poster, the new poster, you've got the rats down at the bottom that they look like they're going towards the ooze, and then there's an episode that's called for season 3 chapter 7, it's called The Bite. So it looks like malls and rats small rats, and that's going to play like a big part, and that's reminding me a lot of, well, not reminding me, it's like kind of like an homage to like the 80s with the mall, like, the mall was a big thing in the 1980s, so it's going to definitely kind of take place. It's going to be kind of cool to see that. If you look at the picture on IMDb for the chapter 2, season 3, chapter 2, you have Claire's, which, Claire's is still a store, Live in a Well, and Orange Julius. So it looks like they're going to definitely just bring on more nostalgia into the show, which that's going to be really cool.
I don't remember any episodes with the mall, unfortunately for me. So
no, Sheila, she's talking about season 3 is gonna be like a mall setting. Yeah, it's gonna be like a mall setting for most of the series.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you guys think that each character adapted well throughout the series so far? Do you think that they've, adapted well into their roles?
Oh yeah, they absolutely did. I have no complaint with the characters and how they played it. I wish Dustin would have had a bigger part in it than just in season 2 as like the stalker and things like that. I wish they would bring out more of his personality. Hopefully in season 3.
Yeah, I did like Dustin's character too. I thought he's a good kid.
I didn't like his mother. I think his mother wasn't really that childish, or I don't know. I feel like
she's more of a cat mom.
Yeah. And when her cat went missing, like it was up to Dustin to make up excuses, so less she would have had a canary.
Yeah.
Do you guys have favorite parts of the series that you liked? Like parts that stuck out of the series, like the 2 seasons more than others?
Yeah, to me, the part where they're on the bus, the school bus, and they're just waiting for the demi-dogs to like get out the way, and they all have like a plan of attack. Like that episode, like that scene really stayed with me. I really liked that scene. I don't know. I mean, I think they filmed it very well. I love movie scenes that are at night, because that's always like the most, as a filmmaker, like that's always the most challenging thing to film. I mean, they could have probably just did some color correction later on. But I did like how they made it. It was haunting. It was like your typical classic, like movie, like teenage movies that are about to like fight off the monsters. So like it gave you like that cool, exciting vibe. You're like freaking out, but you're like excited at the same time. And then you definitely see like Steve become like the best babysitter in the world there. I like that. I liked how the kids were like armed up and like ready to go. But then like, somehow at one point the dogs were all like kind of called back to the lab. So they kind of left. So they didn't really have to fight off too much, which I was like, whew, that's good. That's easy peasy. But I like that particular scene, I think throughout all of season 2 was my favorite.
And I think that was the scene that pretty much made Steve the person he is, and like the babysitter and the protector. Because that scene, Steve had a huge role in protecting each and every one of those kids. Yeah. Especially inside that bus when they were surrounded by these demi-dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it became Steve's coping mechanism when him and Nancy broke up. He became like the babysitter, the protector, like you guys said, and that was his way of, dealing with his situation, and he did well with it. And like that scene with them on the bus, like prepping for the demo dogs, that was a pretty intense part of the episode. Like, I was just like, oh boy, hopefully nobody dies.
I'm
How about
looking here as well on IMDb. There was a character here named Robin. I do not recall a Robin.
Was that
think
Tommy's girlfriend, the one that Steve kind of got into her face when he got beat up the first time from Billy?
maybe that was who that was.
Because
Maybe.
that's the only person that I could think of, because I don't remember any Robin, but I do remember Tommy, which was supposed to be Steve's best friend, which they turned around to be the opposite of friends at that time. And
So
then
I think you're right then. I think that's who it is. But what about her, Allie?
Oh, I was gonna say I don't remember her. I don't remember a character named Robin. So I was looking up, or I was looking at more things on IMDb, and I didn't know if she was someone who was there before. Maybe she was just a very minor character, or if she might be a new addition to the show.
I'm
about to look at season 2 and see if she shows up on season 2. And if she doesn't, then we know that she is a whole new character.
So everybody just look for character name Robin in season 3.
Or like any new character names that you might just see that look different. I do like doing that with shows. I like seeing who the new person is, because it's always a new person. And that's always fun.
Yeah, it's always good to research and see what to expect for new characters for shows and movies.
no, I think she's gonna be a new character because she's actually in the picture with Steve, and he's wearing a little sailor suit.
So she's a newcomer.
I believe so.
Ooh, so who is this Robin?
It makes you wonder.
All right.
Excuse me. Ooh. Oh, you're welcome. Bless you.
Thank you.
Because they actually have them in matching sailor suits in the picture that I'm looking at.
Oh, how interesting. Coordination.
Yeah. So
maybe this is a new partner in Steve's life.
Oh, that'd be nice. And she's obviously, if she's the new partner, Steve's new partner, then she will be brought into the shenanigans of what is Stranger Things.
Oh, actually, I'm looking at her right now, who she is. Her name is Maya Hawke. Yeah, I definitely don't remember her from the first 2 seasons, so she's definitely new.
She's new. Yeah, she's definitely new. I went on her IMDb page and looked at Stranger Things, and it just says 2019, so she's a new character.
Good find.
Yeah.
So we got a new character to look out for.
Yeah, let's see who she is and what she played, what her role will be.
Oh my god, they got pops of Robin and Steve in the sailor suits.
What happened?
They got pops. The pop things of Robin and Steve in sailor suits.
It looks like I'm looking at another picture of the 2 of them, and it looks like they're going to be like working at the same, like an ice cream place together or something.
Okay.
Kind of like a job together.
So that's what it is. And there's also a new character as well named Bruce. And I looked on his IMDb. He looks like he will be on Stranger Things for not a long time. And that's all I'll say about that. He's played by, let me see here. Let me go back.
Carrie Ells.
Yeah.
So basically,
Bruce.
the guy,
He's played by Jake
that
Jesse.
played in The Princess Bride.
Oh, yeah.
The British guy, isn't he? He's British, right?
Have you ever seen the movie The Princess Bride?
I did, but I don't recall.
He was like the main protagonist, the male protagonist in that movie. He's trying to get his the love of his life back, and by pretending to be somebody else.
Mm-hmm. I remember him.
So I wonder if he's going to be like the one of the antagonists, kind of like Dr. Brennan was, and what was that other guy? Oh, Dr. Owens.
Yeah, he's you know, not too long.
Oh boy.
Let's see. We'll see.
We shall see what unfolds. So, ladies, we're coming on to the end of the podcast episode. Is there anything else you guys want to discuss, or
No,
any
I
other
think
thoughts you may have? Or I'm sorry, what?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I'm just excited for season 3. I can't wait to see, what happens. Hopefully they'll, I know that they skipped out on bringing us Stranger Things in 2018. So, this might mean that this will probably be an even bigger production. So maybe in that case, the same way, also a little off topic with Game of Thrones, they skipped out on a year because this is going to be the most epic season. Stranger Things, that might be the case as well. This is going to be a very epic season. So they skipped out, or they skipped the year to have more time to film. So I'm just excited to see what happened, or what's going to happen.
Well said. I am definitely looking forward to seeing what transpires in season 3. I am super excited. I can't wait. I am already a fan of the show along with these other ladies, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Yes, absolutely.
Same here. Can't wait to see. And again, more character development, more plot development. We want to know more.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, we do. Fill in our blanks, please.
Yes.
We are so curious to have some of our lingering thoughts to be confirmed.
Tessa, I'm actually gonna say I actually found something that you might actually find interesting on Facebook. Facebook, or I could send it on Instagram for everybody to see, but that's pretty much a link that I found that shows a little trial of what happening in cast 3 and the new cast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there was one that shows a poster of Mike, and is that supposed to be 11? She has longer hair and she looks a lot different.
Ooh, the future.
Oh, ever so curious. So, is that it for our final thoughts on the episode, ladies? Do you think we covered it all?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, with that being said, I was your hostess this evening, Tessa Baker from Everything Horror Podcast, and I was joined by
Vela from DecayMag.
Stacy Cox, staff correspondent from DecayMag.com.
And Shelia C Puregamer.
Thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you very much, ladies, for joining me on our first ever return episode of female episodes for the Everything Horror Podcast. It was definitely a pleasure to have all 3 of you on with me.
Agreed.
It was a pleasure.
Great. We gotta do this again soon.
Oh,
wait,
we
wait.
we
The
yeah.
choice that we talk about Bird Box.
huh?
Yes, I
Yes.
can't
The
wait. I
20,
haven't seen it
the
yet.
26th, we
Yes.
talk about Bird Box, the movie
Yes,
that's
the
breaking
20
the internet.
Yes,
It is.
we will
It
be
really
talking
is.
about the movie that's breaking the internet on the 26th. I still yet to watch that. But
Me
anyway,
too. I want to wait and because with all this internet, hypeness, so I want to wait and see if the hype is really worth it. And I'll probably wait for another week or so and watch it, or I might watch it tonight. I'm not sure, but I definitely want to see it. Or I want to wait a little bit and see it.
so with that being said, listeners, like we like to say here at Everything Horror Podcast, stay scary.